City of Milton Common Council meeting both in person and by Zoom to order Tuesday, August 3rd, 2021 at 6 p.m. And can I get confirmation of appropriate meeting notice?
Meeting notice was posted at Dave's Ace Hardware, Piggly Wiggly, and Milton City Hall.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor? Is there anyone opposed? All right, that motion carries. Pledge of Allegiance. Is there anyone in person or by Zoom that has any public comments regarding items which can be affected by council action? All right, seeing none, is there a motion to approve the minutes from July 20th of 2021, or is there any additions?
Move to approval.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve the minutes from July 20th of 2021. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, that motion carries. Discussion and possible action regarding PorkFest application for special event permit.
Okay, I will take this one. So the Arts and Crafts on the Lawn is scheduled for August 15th, and they're requesting the special event permit application from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Jenny, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I'm on the PorkFest application for special event permit. It's number 7 or 6, I mean.
I apologize. I'm looking at the
That's okay.
next meeting agenda. So let's try that again. Okay. I was ready to go for that one. Okay, so same date. This is going to be Milton Area Chamber of Commerce is requesting the special event permit application for the Pork Fest, August 15th, and they are looking from 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. Part of the event will have, road closures on North Janesville Street and Stores Lake in front of the Milton House. And they're expecting roughly 500 attendees. The event does require city services, including barricades and garbage cans and supplying dumpsters. So they may incur overtime for this.
I would move. I thought I did. I would move approval.
I would second that motion.
There's a motion and there is a second. Are there any questions or comments from anyone? All those in favor? Anyone opposed? All right, that motion carries. Moving on to Arts and Crafts special event permit.
Okay, well, I am going to go ahead and do that one now. So same thing, it is on August 15th that they are scheduled. It's the Arts and Crafts on the Lawn. It will be held on the side of the Milton House. And same detour, this is also a DOT approved detour, North Janesville Street and Stores Lake Road. They are expecting 1,500 attendees at this point. Again, same dumpsters that will be used at the Pork Fest and refuse cans also.
Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve the Arts and Crafts on the Lawn application for special event permit.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those or any questions, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That motion carries. Discussion and possible action regarding memorandum of understanding between the City of Milton and United Ethanol LLC regarding a permanent side spur easement.
So as you may recall, and if you do, that's impressive. Back in February of this year, the City of Milton and United Ethanol entered into an agreement to provide a permanent side spur easement on city-owned property so they could construct a new tail track or tail spur to serve their facility. As part of that, this was all part of the CQC kind of T grant and getting the rail to bend around the corner and go across a little bit of United Ethanol's property. Ethanol and the city and CQC and ethanol kind of all negotiated together. Ultimately, CQC provided monetary compensation for that easement to be granted to the city. And WSOR said that they are on board so long as there is a memorandum of understanding between the city of Milton and United Ethanol for the construction of this new tail spur that kind of spells out how that track can be utilized and how it cannot interfere with the city's existing lead spur or lead track. So this MOU does effectuate that through our work with our city attorney as well as WSOR. They've identified clear points and they've identified kind of the rail layout and the fact that the rail may need to be truncated at some point in the future if development warrants additional track to be constructed to the south and or west. So this MOU kind of finalizes that whole process that's been going on for probably almost a year now in terms of the United Ethanol property. So
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding between the City of Milton and United Ethanol LLC regarding a permanent side spur easement.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Are there any questions or comments from the council regarding this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Discussion and possible action regarding preliminary Public Works Resolution 2021-19 concerning assessment of sanitary sewer and appurtenance. Is that correct? Am I saying that right?
So I'll take this one since Mark and Howie are virtual and they can certainly jump in if I misspeak in any way, shape, or form. Again, as you, oh, that was you? Okay, that was great. That a little strange. So again, as you may recall, the Common Council approved the construction of a new sanitary sewer extension that would extend from the lift station that was installed in 2019 to run in a westerly direction and get to the top of the hill in what is commonly referred to as Pierce Farms. This would serve not only the top of the hill, but also any property that adjoins this sanitary sewer extension. We've gone out to bid. The council has approved those bids, and now we are looking to begin the assessment process. So this is the first step in that assessment process. We adopt a resolution establishing the date for the public hearing and potential assessments. Or I'm sorry, this allows us to schedule that, start that process. So then we would notify the affected property owners in the assessment process and then come back before the council for a public hearing and the inevitable adoption of an assessment resolution. Final assessment resolution, I should say.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2021-19, allowing the city clerk to establish a date for a public hearing to be conducted to hear from affected property owners.
Second.
There's a motion and there is a second. Are there any questions or concerns from anyone? Or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? All right, that motion carries. Discussion and possible action regarding police department hiring process and development of an academy attendee pay scale and commitment contract update.
So this was on the agenda back in July when Chief Mark Ward kind of introduced this topic. That we have a situation that we are not immune to. That's a national issue in terms of recruiting new officers. We had never done in the past sponsored an officer through the academy. That is the situation that we are in now. After multiple recruitments, it was difficult to find a candidate that already had academy. So they went through the recruitment process, identified a preferred candidate, offered that individual the position based on their passing of a variety of tasks. and being entered into the academy. They have. So this is the item that's being brought back to outline basically what Chief Markwart had described back on July 20th. I don't know if there's much more to add than that. The employment agreement with the officer is attached, and I think ultimately that's what he's seeking approval of.
Memo said he had no action was necessary.
Yeah,
So,
I think he used the same memo from 2 weeks ago would be my guess, because he wasn't looking for action back then. And it was the Attorney Schrader's recommendation to bring the agreement back to the council. And that's what he's doing.
He is, but for, I think, review and comment, but you won't actually need to approve, you can
Okay.
prove anything because there's no contract yet to be, that I understand, to be entered into with the probationary employee.
I believe we're at that step.
I guess if there is, I guess we don't know who it is.
Yeah, well, we know who it is, but I guess I don't. So we would need to bring this back with the officer's name? Is that what you're
Well,
indicating?
I think that's, I'm just looking at this here. It provides for the name of the officer.
Mhm.
And so this is, I guess, well, this is, what it does is more than really hire, it confirms the terms of the financial terms of the hire.
Hmm.
And so that's why I understand, certainly you can give approval to the form of it, but I would expect that I just wanted to I'm just looking at his memo here too. Yeah. Be swearing in Samantha, we meet her next week to begin her employment. Well, if we know the name of the individual, yes, they can approve then the employment agreement to insert that name in here. We just have the first name of the person. I guess you know the last name.
Yes, Samantha. Ziebell. Samantha Ziebell. She was in here this morning. I think a couple of you actually met her.
And I understand that she's been sworn in. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So then you'd be approving the employment agreement with that individual with these terms if you wish to. Yeah, that's probably what he meant. It just wasn't real clear in the
Okay.
email there.
So I think the motion could be approval of the employment agreement with Officer Samantha Ziebell as presented by Police Chief Markwart. Would that be sufficient?
Yep.
I'll make that motion.
Turn your mic on.
I'll second.
Thank you. There's a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Right.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Discussion, direction, and possible action requiring mask wearing in public facilities.
So as I'm sure folks are aware, the CDC came out with new guidance last week, and Rock County Department of Health followed suit, indicating that individuals, irrespective of vaccination status, are recommended to wear masks while indoors or in large gatherings. Since the onset of the pandemic, we have kind of followed Rock County's guidelines as well as the CDC. So brought this item forward to you, sent out this additional document today that kind of outlines, I guess, what our expectations would be, so long as council's in agreement with that. that would be our practice moving forward until the next time the guidelines are changed. But that would be our practice moving forward. We would still require those who are unvaccinated to wear a mask at all times when indoors, and then encourage the public to wear masks irrespective of vaccination status, but stopping short of requiring due to the challenges that could present.
And this is what Rock County is doing too. And they did just release, I don't know what time today, that Rock County is considered a high community spread county right now.
Yeah, we're already seeing that other communities are requiring masks to enter public facilities. This does not do that, but we certainly could move in that direction if we don't see relief from this. But or if the council wants to go that far tonight, we could do that too.
Are there any questions or comments? And we have masks at on the table there too that we can provide. Also, well, it just says mask requiring. It doesn't talk about having virtual meetings or anything like that.
No, we don't have that on. Yeah, that's not a part of this, but certainly if that's something that the council wants to consider, we can discuss that too. It's not agendized that way, but if that's something that we want to talk about.
I think that we should. Just for,
When you say should, specifically, what should we be doing?
I think that we should follow the guidelines that Rock County is using, but I also think that we should go back to virtual meetings because I feel like it's hard to understand people when they have a mask on.
Any other comments?
I agree with Alder Linda Clark, and I find it really hard to wear one. I have to wear one for work, and by the end of the day, I have a hard time breathing. So, for me personally, but so virtual might be good. We might get more people coming back on too from the community, the virtual. So.
Any other comments by any other council members or?
I
Teresa?
guess we would have to also, do we include committee meetings? Are you just referring to council meetings?
It could be committee meetings too. As far, I mean, as long as there's no reason that we can't include
No, I just
committee meeting.
Yeah, we have been offering a virtual option pretty much for all committee meetings up, since we kind of went that direction with the council. I think in Public Works tonight, somebody attended virtually at the Public Works meeting tonight at 5 o'clock. We didn't have anybody attend virtually at Plan Commission. Well, we had staff attend. Yeah, so that option still exists.
We had a combination of both for the library meeting last night.
Okay.
I will add, the only one that we had a little bit of pushback was Zoning Board of Appeals. They all requested that it was in person only and not have a virtual option.
I'm okay with that because if an individual committee wants to do that, but then they all have to be masked. I mean, based on what we're talking about here, right?
We can't possibly know the vaccination status of people in the public. So, yeah.
That particular committee doesn't really meet that often, does it?
It's only on an as-needed basis.
Yeah.
Seems to be more needed lately than it has been, but might be a situation where they don't meet again for 3 years. You know, so
Any other comments by anybody? All right, are we making a motion then?
I think it would be beneficial just for our purposes on staff to then be able to kind of send that out to the employee groups and committee members so they understand.
Sure.
It's not just Al.
Yep. It's not.
I have one quick comment. Just think it's kind of an unfortunate backstep, especially since we've been meeting in person for a month now. So kind of an unfortunate backstep, but I understand the idea to it'd be difficult to be sitting up here with masks.
And I also think the council has been consistent, incredibly consistent with following the guidelines that have come out of Rock County. And, you know, all pandemics come to an end. We don't know when this one will, but we do know that they all do come to an end. So it won't be forever, or it won't be as long as we're all elected officials, I'm assuming. So is there a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve the mask I'll make the motion to have the city of Milton follow the guidelines of Rock County. And I would also include virtual meetings with that motion.
Until the guidelines change or something. Okay.
Until the guidelines change.
I'll second.
All right, there's a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? All right, that motion carries. Thank you for your adaptability. Discussion, direction, and possible action concerning next steps regarding fire and EMS service provisions within the city of Milton. Ellen and I are like, yeah, we'll just pass on
Yeah.
this.
So we had talked. We've had a variety of discussions and meetings over the last several weeks since our presentation by Chief Pickering. Alder Wilson has been meeting with Beth Drew from the town board to talk about kind of next steps on their level. We have had conversations with Janesville. We've had conversations internally, and we thought it would be good to just kind of have one big conversation with everybody to really kind of talk about next steps. You know, in some ways, we feel like we're no further today than we were a year ago. And in fact, now there's even more options. But we also recognize the fact that time is of the essence and still continues to be that way. So we really want to continue to kind of move the ball down the field and are really just looking for direction on how we want to do that.
And we have discussed that we will have to go to a referendum regardless of whatever model that we choose. And as all of you know, I have been reaching out to other municipalities that have gone to referendum on these issues, and I've been sending those responses back as I get them in. And so far, everybody that has, you know, gone to referendum on this has put out a referral for project proposals to assist with writing the language for a referendum, for communicating for a referendum. We're in a unique situation where we have not even chosen the model, which is a little bit problematic if we don't have a model to determine the language and the educational aspect of a referendum. So there's a couple of thoughts that I have is that we could, and we really do have to do this sooner rather than later. Like, this is not something that we can sort of do in, I guess, October or something like that, is we could do two RFPs. We could do one where we ask someone to submit a project proposal to help us analyze the options and the models that we have right now. As you know, when we worked with Wisconsin Policy Forum, we didn't have the Edgerton model, and so there isn't a recommendation out there. There isn't analysis out there looking at all these models. So we could do an RFP for that in addition to helping us with a referendum. And we could do, and we're not sure that there's a business out there that exists that could do both, right? That could help us with analysis and make a recommendation and do education communication for a referendum. And we could also do an RFP, just for the recommendation, language, education, communication for the referendum. I've shared with you a couple of firms that have done that with other municipalities, but we as a municipality do not have any experience in going to this type of public safety referendum. So, thoughts on that and direction?
I would like to hear from Bill how his meeting with Beth has turned out.
Yeah, I think there are two issues here in my mind. One is how we get through 2022, and then the other one is what model do we adopt, and how do we get to whatever it is that we have in 2023. We've had a couple of meetings. There will be a recommendation for 2022, what we do about a chief. Beth and I have met 3 times, 2 of those times with Chris Lucas, and we have a draft of here's a recommendation that we think we can live with for 2022 that will be going out to the fire commission members relatively soon. I see the 2023 issue as kind of a separate piece, but think that we need to get in place some assistance in what we do and how we frame this as soon as we possibly can. Even before we do decide on a model, because I think that this type of firm that would work with the kind of firms work with school referenda and with other kinds of referenda. Hopefully we get someone, I think we would get someone that have done public safety kinds of things before. But I think that they're going to be able to provide us with advice as well, in terms of don't make this misstep. Just how we communicate our decision, I think is going to be very, very important. So, I would be all for, if there's a firm that can do the analysis, that's fine. I think almost more important is that assistance with the referendum.
Any other questions or comments?
I just say that hiring a firm to help with the referendum, I think is a good idea.
Anybody else? Larry?
I agree with what's been said. My only concern is that we don't have a model to put forward. And I almost think that might be a backlash from that, from if we don't have a model to include in the referendum. So
Right. That's why we talked about doing 2 RFPs, and if we don't get a firm that can do both, then we'll have to make a decision. And we'll give them a start date, right? We're gonna have to have a date where we're gonna have a decision made by, and move to hire somebody to help us with that. So far, I haven't found anybody that has passed one of these referendums without help. I mean, that's just not our expertise.
But even if you did, I still think it makes more sense to have somebody who has expertise in this area rather than trying to go into it cold.
Yes. Yep.
Has anybody considered contacting RW again? Because they did mention to us previously that they would help us with a referendum if we decided and when we decided.
Yeah, they would put in an RFP. I'm not 100%, but we know that there's been some, like RW is with McManus now or something like that, a bigger PR firm too. So yeah, I'm sure that they would, and I'll follow up. And we don't know who all does this, but we know of a handful just from contacting the league and from the folks that have responded back to my email that have passed these referendums in the past few years.
Would we need an actual motion, or can we just act by consensus to direct staff to generate, I guess, an appropriate motion might be to generate 2 RFPs. One to inform the decision on the model, and a second to assist with the referendum. I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All right. There's a motion and a second. Does anybody have anything further to say on this? Anybody, anywhere?
I think that it's real important that, I know that we're looking for others to suggest what would be a better way for us, but the reality is the bottom line is going to be up to us and our electors. So we really need to, I feel like we really need to get this out there as quick as possible. And
Sure.
even if we have to go ahead and say, okay, we're going to go in this direction, us, the council.
Yeah, we have how many times in 2022 for a referendum? April, August, or is it February, April?
Three with potentially 4. So it'd be April,
April,
August, and
August,
November for
November.
certain, and there could be a February one as well, but that might as well just rule that one out because that's just not enough time.
Right. I mean, we'll be lucky if we get something for April.
Oh
at this
yeah,
point.
I think yeah, that's going to be, we're going to be challenged to get there too. Yeah, the RFP for the public relations piece of it should be very easy. I'm sure there's hundreds of examples out
Yeah.
there on the various listservs. So that's very likely something we might be able to bring back to the next meeting. The other one might be more challenging because it just, I don't know that it exists, and I don't know that there are firms that do that. So we'll have to, again, I can look into it and see what resources are out there. But the marketing one should be pretty straightforward. And maybe it's just a matter of one RFP with 2 questions, and RW hires somebody to do the other piece of it. I mean, that's very, very common in the RFP world, that you get, sub-consultants do aspects of the analysis, or so that could be another approach too.
Yep. So there is a motion and a second, correct? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Thank you for that direction. Discussion and possible action regarding committee appointments. We have some. I don't have the.
Yeah.
My laptop went down.
Yes, I can pull that up. Okay, so we have a Historic Preservation Committee appointment and also the Tourism Consortium. And okay, so Chris McDaniel, she was really interested in the Historic Preservation Commission. She reached out prior to when there was a vacancy, and I reached out to her again, and she was still interested. She did want to let everyone know she has worked with many historic committees in the past, and she was just very excited about it. And then for the Tourism Consortium, the recommendation was the Milton House Museum Executive Director.
And are we doing like saying that it's Keaton Kloss because that's who the director is, or? Yep. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so it would be Keaton, naming Keaton Kloss.
Would you like them separate or together?
Okay, let's roll. Like I can't do the motion for you.
I would move approval of Committee appointments, Chris McDaniel to Historic Preservation, Keaton Kloss to Tourism, the Tourism Consortium.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion or anything? All those in favor? Anyone opposed? All right, we have those 2 appointments done. Thank you. General items. Anybody have any general items?
Historic preservation's tomorrow. Hopefully we'll see Chris there.
Let's make sure we notify her tonight.
She's already been notified. Although she might want to attend.
And she did confirm that she's planning to attend.
By Zoom. Any other general items? Oh, we are. Oh, it's not a, it's a combination one though, right? Okay, okay. Okay, okay. Great, great. Any, any other general items for anyone? Any other committee reports for anyone?
Plan Commission met this afternoon and only had one item on it, transfer of land along West Madison, but it was rather uneventful. I think it was 2 minutes long, the meeting in its entirety.
Like, we're super efficient there. You can hardly sign into Zoom and sign out in 2 minutes.
All right. Library board met last night, and actually we are looking for any updated information on the roof of the library. If anybody has that, we would sure love to hear. One of the members also questioned whether or not there could be possibly mold. So
Ashley is shaking her head that she really wants to take this one.
I did get some updated information. Mark reached out, so I have some updated information, and we'll hopefully get the interior repairs done on the first floor soon. So. They're waiting on some supplies, materials for the roof, and we'll get a pre-construction meeting soon, I was told. So it's coming.
Anything else as far as committee reports? Staff reports? Let's go to our Zoom participants first for their staff reports. Otherwise, I'm just going to forget them. Howie?
All right. Let's see. A few of the things we're working on, starting to try to get some of the winter stuff ready. And then also at South Goodrich Park, we did a renovation of the outfield. There was a lot of ruts in there. We got a lot of the topsoil for free from the Putman Street edition. So that helped out with that. Orchard Row sidewalks for the parks are going to go in hopefully this week. Mark might talk about those. That's part of all the street projects that we're doing, for Cottonwood and Blanche and those areas. Let's see, we're going to do some more code enforcement, especially for dead trees and also for the cars that are parked all over on the yards everywhere. And there's a lot of them all over in town. So we're going to work on some of those things too. And we've worked with a couple of the youth groups to adjust their practice areas. So some of them may use the open lawn area behind the Public Works garage for some of those things. Otherwise, there's just the events, the Pork Fest, and getting ready for that. And there's just been a lot of other events in the parks going on for the splash park and park rentals. So.
Thanks, Howie. Mark E.
Yes, Howie indicated the Veterans Park sidewalk should start tomorrow. Contractor finished up all of the water main today. So they'll be moving on to the pavement and concrete replacement on Cottonwood soon. They'll just follow Veterans Park. Putman Parkway, that work is progressing for the Clausen site. They're still waiting on some permits for the utility installations out there. We have replaced private contractors have replaced 16 lead service lines so far. We've had fairly good interest. So far for the applicants we've received, we're a little under halfway through the funding that's available, but we're still receiving interest. Got a small, the normal concrete sidewalk repair project out to bid. We have some water service lines that we have to replace. So a project for that out to bid right now. Just, you know, the normal miscellaneous everyday stuff going on too. So.
Okay, thank you very much. I think that's all we have for Zoom. Dan?
Nothing too exciting. We've got, I sent out budget worksheets to all the department directors so we can start going on the 2022 budget, and that's about it.
Okay, Ashley.
The application period for our open library assistant position ends on Friday, and hopefully we'll start doing interviews hopefully next week or soon after. And then my teen advisory board's library fun run is next Saturday, August 14th. Its registration is $18, and you can run the marked 5K course anytime between 10 and 12:30. And then money raised will go towards teen programming in the teen book collection.
And when's the food truck rally?
That is Sunday, August 29th. And I have 12 trucks booked. And the map for that will be probably out next week, I think. And we'll scatter them again like we did in May.
All right.
Yes, one more thing. We are selling raffle tickets for Story Gardens. You have the chance to win a set of zero gravity chairs, a picnic blanket and basket, or a custom pet portrait. Tickets are for sale at the library and here at City Hall, and we'll be at the farmers market tomorrow as well. You can buy tickets there. One for $2 or 3 for $5.
Jenny, anything? Oh, one more thing for Ashley.
Sorry, farmers market is on Thursday.
Jenny.
Okay, so on the 27th, we had Jason Lee from the Wisconsin Alcohol Enforcement Agency come, and we had roughly 20 to 25 attendees. It was a really good discussion. There's a lot of questions answered, and so I did speak to Jason Lee and then his partner Kurt, and they have agreed that they will do this again possibly next year or the year after. And so we talked about options for a meeting every year around renewal time. So it seems like it was worth it. And that is all that I have right now. Oh, and actually, we did, our new City Hall employee started yesterday, and everything's been going very well.
And what's her name again?
Her name is Ashley Hunstead. Ashley with a Y.
That's so we have a Mark S, a Mark E, an Ashley E, and an Ashley Y. Ashley C. That's why I have to retire. Al.
Nothing too crazy. We talked about this at Plan Commission. It's been it's been a little challenging with development. Jeez, guess somebody's ringing my doorbell at home. See, if we were virtual, you wouldn't have to worry about that. I guarantee it's my 3-year-old. I guarantee it. I don't even need to look at the screen. He got outside and is ringing the doorbell. We have a lot of development that's in the queue, and a lot of it's just held up because there's just not enough time for engineers and surveyors specifically to accomplish that work. So we have 2 residential subdivisions that are kind of in the process of being moved along, but they are moving very, very slowly. But with that being said, you know, we've got there's a crazy amount of activity out there at the Clausen site. If you haven't been out there to see it, you can now see it all the way over by Vickerman. And Carl's Place has their entire kind of framework up for their shell. So yeah, it'll be 2022 will be kind of moving along just like 2021 did. So it'll be good.
Did I miss anybody for staff reports? Okay. Yep. And Council, any comments, questions, anything? Okay, y'all ready for team building? All right, so this is like I think it's super easy. You have two options. Oh, you can fill in the blank on either one or both. So option number one is good habits lead to blank, or bad habits lead to blank. Oh, we do. Oh, thank you. I just want you to know, Howie and Mark, that was Inga that just threw you under the bad habits, good habits bus. Howie and Mark, don't pretend you don't know what's going on. Can somebody make a banner for Mark? Mark E.
I'll start. Bad habits lead to death. Oh, just cheerful. There's a story. There's a Mark Twain story about going to the funeral of a virtuous woman, and Mark Twain's comment was, "No wonder she died. She had nothing to throw overboard." So,
Thank you, Bill.
I'll go with bad habits lead to boredom.
Thank you, Teresa. That is something that will never happen at our council meetings. Larry?
Good habits start with loving yourself.
Oh, nice. Oh, what is going on here?
I'm gonna get this over with.
Mark E, I just want you to know Mark S is going for you.
Good habits lead to good results.
Yeah.
Do good habits lead to a happier life?
Thank you, Linda.
I will say that hopefully bad habits lead to good habits.
Bad habits lead to 1/3 of your team being traded on July 30th.
Yes.
Bad habits lead to trouble.
Possibly followed by further.
Oh, Mark, what is that? Is that your hand raise? Oh, I'm glad you can hear us now. Go ahead, Marky.
Yeah, there's some technological difficulties there. Good habits lead to good health.
Bad habits lead to good health. Is that what
Good,
you said?
good habits.
Okay, I will go. I will say good habits lead to good riches.
Oh. Quotes from the staff and council to be shared by all. Oh, Howie. Oh, look at that. Is that a mechanical hand?
That must have been, yeah. Let's see. Bad habits lead to a 200-pound body on a 160-pound frame.
Scared now.
I'll say this is more for me. Good habits lead to little sleep because of all my reading that I've been doing. Reading is a very good habit. I just lose a lot of sleep because of it.
Me too. I finished a book at midnight last night. Okay, I'll go. I would say both good habits and bad habits lead to good times. Did Inga go? I'll repeat what you say. Good habits lead to good choices. I'm going to use that on some friends of mine at the county. Anybody else? All right. Good job, everybody. All right. Where are we? What are we doing next? This must be Ryan's show.
Mark, I assume these are going to be two separate actions here.
There would be, I just recommend combining both motions into one, so you, to read them both at the same time, it wouldn't make any sense to come out of closed session, so. just read
Yeah, I
them
wasn't
both.
sure if I needed to read it one and then the other and then go, or if I read them both together. And so I was just wondering.
Okay, yeah, you can read them both, that's fine.
Okay. All right. Consideration of a motion to convene into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute section 19.85 subsection 1 subsection C, concerning employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility regarding city hall reorganization, and consideration of a motion to convene into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin state statute section 19.85 subsection 1 subsection E, deliberating or negotiating the purchase of public properties, the investing of public funds, or in conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. Reference TIF development agreement request for TIF number 11.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, that motion carries. All right. We're recording now, so what do you want to do?
I guess I make a motion to direct staff to create a timeline and position for a new treasurer. Or, oh, was that recruiting for a new treasurer? Thank you.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, that motion carries. Our next meeting is August 17th, 2021. Is there a motion to adjourn? All those in favor? Anyone opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you, everybody. See you next meeting by Zoom.